Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we are diving into something literally massive. We're unpacking the May 2026 document dump from the US Pentagon. Honestly, this is an unprecedented release of classified info, the kind of stuff that has the whole world talking right now. We're going to explore exactly what was hiding inside these files. To give you an idea of the scale, the Pentagon declassified exactly 162 secret files all at once. And look, we aren't just talking about a few blurry photos here. This release includes everything from military videos and deeply buried astronaut records to pilot interviews and sealed FBI investigation reports. It is a staggering amount of data that's been locked away from the public eye, some of it for literal decades. So, naturally, the second these files hit the internet, one central question completely dominated the conversation. Do these files actually prove that aliens exist? Like, is this the definitive proof humanity has been waiting for? Well, let's find out. Section 1. Mysteries in Outer Space. You know, long before everyone had a high-def camera in their pocket, some of our most esteemed NASA astronauts were reporting impossible things. We're talking 1965, during the Gemini 7 mission, then in 1969 during humanity's second moon landing with Apollo 12, and again in 1972 with Apollo 17. Remember, these weren't amateurs. These were highly trained professionals observing things they simply couldn't explain. Just look at the specific details of these encounters. During Apollo 12, astronauts actually photographed 5 distinct, bright, hovering lights against the pitch-black sky of the moon. And keep in mind, that's a place with absolutely zero atmosphere or electricity. In these newly released files, the Pentagon themselves actually labeled those lights as unidentified. Then you've got Gemini 7. Astronaut Frank Borman radioed mission control about an unidentified object moving completely opposite to their rocket booster, surrounded by what he called millions of particles. That tense radio chatter? Yeah, that was kept completely secret for 60 years. Section 2. Military and Earthly Encounters. Shifting back down to Earth, the encounters are honestly just as astonishing. These files contain infrared footage from American Navy jets tracking objects with no wings, no engines, and no exhaust. And they're moving so incredibly fast that our most advanced fighters literally cannot catch them. In 2024, the military locked on to a massive cylindrical object, anywhere from 130 to 195 feet long, for 20 seconds before it just vanished. There's even a video of an object slowly moving around a wind turbine, acting almost like it was observing how we produce energy. Respected pilots, like Commander David Fravor, have actually gone on record stating they saw these things with their own bare eyes. And we're not just talking about isolated incidents. This is a truly global mystery. Take this wild sequence of events from November 19, 2023, at the Impal airport in India. At 2:30 p.m., officials visually spot this glowing object darting around the sky. But here's the catch. The object is entirely invisible to the airport's radar. Deemed a massive security threat, they actually lock down the airport and halt all flights. The Indian Air Force scrambles 2 advanced Rafale fighter jets. But by the time those jets reach the airspace, the glowing object has completely vanished, gone. Section 3. The History of Cover-Ups. So to really understand the public's deep distrust here, we have to rewind all the way back to 1947, to Roswell, New Mexico. One morning, the U.S. Army puts out this earth-shattering statement saying they had recovered a crashed flying disc. But then, less than 24 hours later, the military completely reverses their story, claiming, oh, actually it was just a weather balloon. That incredibly rapid 180-degree flip-flop, that basically planted a seed of doubt that has never really gone away. And over the years, that suspicion only grew. Between 1952 and 1969, Project Blue Book investigated over 12,000 UFO reports. Fast forward to 2023, and the stage was basically set for this massive data release when former intelligence officer David Grush testified under oath before Congress. He made some seriously explosive claims about multi-decade secret programs recovering crashed alien spacecraft and bodies. Which brings us right to the modern political climate surrounding these 162 files. Political figures across the board, including Donald Trump, have been pushing a full transparency narrative, essentially stating that nothing is being hidden anymore. But because of things like Roswell, Grush's testimony, and just decades of secrecy, a huge portion of the public remains super unconvinced. Despite all the political promises of transparency, many folks still firmly believe the real truth is being covered up. Section 4. The Scientific Explanations.
Now, here is where things get really grounded. In 2023, NASA conducted an independent study, and their findings ruthlessly juxtapose what human eyes think they saw with what actual physics and tech dictate happened. Remember the Apollo 17 fireworks and the Gemini particles? Well, science explains this simply as spacecraft wastewater. When it's dumped into the vacuum of space, it instantly freezes into tiny, sparkling ice crystals. What about those hyperspeed ocean objects outrunning fighter jets? NASA points out that a jet flying at 800 kilometers per hour creates immense camera sensor distortion, which makes slow objects appear impossibly fast. And that 1999 Gulf of Aman radar contact, highly probable that it was just an early, classified stealth surveillance drone. It turns out, even the most bizarre videos in this file drop have logical explanations. For example, there's this footage of an object shaped like an 8-pointed star moving through the sky. I mean, it looks completely alien, like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But if we strip away our desire for it to be a spaceship, the most scientifically sound explanation is that it's an experimental military craft. And that stark 8-pointed shape, it's literally just an optical illusion caused by internal glass reflections inside the camera lens.
Section 5. Unresolved Vs. Okay, so the absolute crucial takeaway here is understanding the Pentagon's specific terminology. When they label an incident in these 162 files as an unresolved phenomenon, they are explicitly stating that it does not mean alien. Unresolved simply means there's a lack of data. Maybe the camera sensors were too limited, or, and this is a big one, the object involved highly classified military technology that simply cannot be explained publicly without compromising national security. Still, human curiosity is a pretty powerful thing, isn't it? It's honestly fascinating that despite all these scientific rebuttals, the ice crystals, the camera distortions, the drone theories, the original creator of our source material today maintains a strong personal conviction that extraterrestrial life truly does exist. It just goes to show that even when faced with scientific reality, our desire to believe we are not alone in the universe really persists. Which leaves us with one final kind of provocative thought. If we accept that these 16 files don't actually prove the existence of aliens, and if every midair mystery can actually be explained by optical illusions, sensor glitches, and highly advanced stealth technology, then what exactly are the militaries of the world building right above our heads that they are trying so incredibly hard to keep hidden? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.